All right, lessons 4 and 5 we're compiling together because they're dealing with multiplying and dividing integers. They have the same exact rules if you multiply integers versus dividing them. So we're going to just combine these two lessons into one. However, you'll notice that this video is part 1. There will be a part 2 which extends more into exponents and other things dealing with integers. So this is our part 1 of our kind of last lessons here, dividing and multiplying integers. Now our rules right up top here. And make sure you guys have that highlighter pencil and your notes. You're following along, highlighting, filling these in with me. So our rules, when both signs are positive, our answer is going to be positive. If both signs are negative, our answer is going to be positive. And if we have a positive and a negative number, then our answer is going to be negative. Now, in short, that just means if they have the same sign, we'll get a positive answer. If they have different signs, it'll be negative. Division by 0 is undefined. This is just a kind of reminder for you all. We cannot divide by 0. Let's fill in this table together, kind of helping dive further into those rules and understanding them better. So if we do, let's look at the one to the left. Our table to the left is all dealing with multiplying. And then we'll move over to the right with dividing. But let's fill this in. If we multiply a positive times a positive number, positive times a positive gives us a positive. A negative times a negative gives us a positive. Remember, same signs, it's going to be positive. Don't get confused with that. Now, if we multiplied a positive times a negative, they're different signs, meaning our answer will be negative. And if we do a negative times a positive, again, different signs, so our answer is going to be negative. Now, what happens if we're dividing? Well, those same rules apply. Same signs means we're going to get a positive answer. Ready? Same, so it'll be positive. When they're different and we're dividing, our answers are going to be negative. Take a second to fill that out. And when you're ready, we're going to move down here to our practice problems. Now remember, this is a video. If you need to stop and pause and continue to write down or make a note, do that. Don't just continue on with me. Do what you need to do. So let's find each product or each quotient, depending on what we're doing. First one, when two numbers are next to each other like that, that is multiplication. So 12 times a negative 3. I notice that those are different signs, so my answer is going to be negative. Maybe determine that first. Should my answer be positive or negative? And then now do the math. What is 12 times 3? Hopefully you're thinking 36. Don't use those calculators. Let's practice our multiplication and some division here. Now, what I want to do actually with the rest of these problems is let's just go through and decide what their sign's going to be. If you get problems handed to you, given to you, maybe the first thing you want to do is determine the signs before you forget about it. You don't want to leave it out in your answer. So we're going to move right down this table. Next one, I have a negative times a negative. A negative times a negative, if I look up at that table, should give me a positive. Let's move down to the next one. A negative times a positive Different signs should give me a negative. And then let's go down this table. Let's just determine the signs. I see a positive divided by a negative. Different signs should give me a negative. Negative divided by a negative should give me a positive. The last one, remember, a fraction is really division. So if I divide a positive by a negative, what kind of answer should that give you? Go ahead and write that sign down. Is it positive or negative? Hopefully you're saying it's negative. Now what I want you to do, pause the video, go back and actually do the math. Give me my answers for all of these. When you're done, press play. Okay, welcome back. Let's go over this. -2 times a -11 should give us a positive 22. Do you need that plus sign for it to be shown positive? No, it doesn't have to be there, okay? Next one, -4 times a positive 5. 4 times 5 is 20. We already determined it should be negative, so -20. So we have our first row done. Let's move on to our next. Let's look at our division. So positive 21 divided by a -7, different signs. We said it was negative. We know that 21 divided by 7 is 3. -12 divided by a -3, you should be saying a positive 4. Again, you don't need that plus. I mean, we just went through and labeled whether it was positive or negative. If you have it there, I'm not going to mark it wrong in any way. Next, 72 divided by -9 should give you a -8. Hopefully you maybe went through and maybe starred and corrected what you got correct or incorrect on that table. Make sure you have those all written down for us. And then just down on this the bottom of this page, we'll wrap up this part 1 of video with the bottom of this page. And then we'll do the next set of notes on the next video. It says, give an example of multiplying or dividing integers in real life. So I want you to think, maybe pause the video and think about how integers occur in the real world. Not just positive and negative numbers, but what if I were dividing them up or multiplying them? Think and write down a nice example for us. And I know we're not there to share with each other. I would love for us all to be in the classroom as a whole group, sharing a ton of ideas. But go ahead and see if you can think of one. Maybe pause the video and think about it, and then come back when you're done. Hopefully you thought of an example. I'll give you one example. If we're dealing with money, maybe. I owe my parents $20. I owe the money, so it's negative. And I owe both of them together $20. If I want to repay both of them back the same amount, how much would I owe each of them? So maybe if I divide that by 2, because there's 2 of them, I would owe each of them $10. That's just one example. There's multiple examples. If you have 20 cookies and you want to pass them all out to your 5 friends, how many cookies would each friend get? If you have $50 and you want to divide it up between 5 friends, how much would each person get? I could go on for a while, but I'm going to cut myself short. Let us know if you're stumped or need some help thinking of some ways that it occurs in the real world. There are countless ways. This actual word problem to the right is going to be an example. Pam needs to repay Tommy $30. She decides to repay him $10 a week. How many weeks will it take Pam to repay Tommy all the money she borrowed? So if she borrowed $30, she's in debt to him $30. She owes him 30. That's going to be a negative amount. If she's going to repay him $10 a week, so she's giving away $10 per week. Now we're dividing it up. How many weeks will it take her to repay Tommy all the money she borrowed? Go ahead and do that math. What's negative 30 divided by negative 10? Hopefully you're thinking same signs positive. 30 divided by 10 would give you 3. Awesome job if you got that. Make sure you have that